there are a lot of questions about how the American consumer, the American family, is really doing right now. Of course, millions are out of work. The hospitality industry going through what can only be described as a true depression. But for tens of millions of other American families, they've actually been saving a lot of money. They're not traveling. They're not commuting. They're not going out to eat, or at least going out much. And few companies know what's really going on as well as Visa. They don't talk much, but when they do, we listen. Kate Rooney joining us now with a special guest. Kate.
That's right, Brian. Visa reporting Q1 results just last week. It topped expectations on revenue and earnings. The payments giant did see strong debit and e-commerce trends, although revenue did decline year over year. That's thanks to weak international travel during the pandemic. Visa also announced an $8 billion buyback. Today, Visa is pushing further into digital currencies with plans to help banks roll out Bitcoin and crypto trading. And Visa is still looking to push into fintech after its $5 billion deal with Plaid was called off. That came after some pushback from the Department of Justice. Joining us now to talk about all of that, Al Kelly, CEO of Visa. Al, great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Kate, it's a pleasure to be with you.
I do want to start with earnings. You guys came out with Q1 results last week. Walk us through, like Brian mentioned, how the consumer is doing at this point during the pandemic. Where are people spending their money? What does that mean for the broader economy and for Visa's business?
Happy to do that, Kate. The one thing I'll remind people is that the last quarter grew over a pre-COVID-19 quarter. So as I talk about these numbers, it's important for the listener to bear that in mind. But what we saw was actually quite a strong holiday season led by debit and e-commerce. So e-commerce volume went crazy, and most of it in retail. A lot of the spending that people would have done normally on traveling for a vacation or to see families, that money was redeployed into retail purchases. Many of those purchases made with debit cards instead of credit cards. And that's been a big change because of COVID. We're seeing an incredible acceleration in the displacement of cash as an option as people worry about whether cash actually carries germs. And domestic volumes pretty much around the world performed pretty well. We were up 19% in the Middle East and Africa. We were up 16% in Latin America. We were up 8% in the United States. We were up 5% in Europe. We were down a little bit, down 8% in Asia, but if you exclude China, we were flat. So the consumer, particularly in the countries that celebrate the holidays, really turned to e-commerce and spent a lot of money in retail.
Interesting to see that on digital payments. I want to ask you about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So Visa's announcement today is essentially a crypto software program. What's Visa's role going forward in this whole ecosystem if the point is really to be decentralized and they say that they don't need traditional payment rails? How does Visa fit into that bigger picture here for crypto?
Well, we're an enabler, and we don't pick winners and losers. And to the degree that crypto becomes a accepted form of exchange for buying goods and services, we want to be there. We look at crypto in two categories, Kate. There's first the Bitcoin, which typically is something that people buy more as an investment. And then there's cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies, which we see as potential for making purchases. And what Visa brings to the party is it quickly will enable a user or an owner of a cryptocurrency or a something like a Bitcoin and be able to convert that currency into a fiat currency on a Visa credential, and then immediately allows them to spend at any one of the 70 million places that Visa is used around the world. And so we are working with 35 different wallets around the world, much more than any of our other competitors, where we are enabling people to convert that digital currency to a fiat currency and then go spend it immediately. So it provides enablement of people being able to make purchases and helps complete that last mile for somebody who wants to actually buy.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.